All right, Deanna's pick this week was Ishtar, or it's Easter actually, but it looks like Ishtar. Gardens of Babylon. So it was a very pretty game here.
Really is. And that's what attracted me to this game. The name did not. The name made me kind of stop and question what it was about.
So you are a gardener for the king, and out there in the desert of Babylon, he wants you to create the best garden for his wife. Um, so what you're doing on a turn is you are coming over here. This is a rug tile. It has these are supposed to be cups, and they have at the beginning of the game there'll be lots of these tiles on there. So here at the end, there's just a couple left. But what you're going to do is you've got a watering can, and the watering can indicates which tile you're going to take, because on your turn you're going to move this clockwise, and then you'll take the tile that's there, and you'll put it down here someplace. Now, the thing about the desert is, well, there's no water. How are you going to grow a garden? So these tall pagoda-looking things are fountains. So there's purple ones, red, and white, different colors. And so what you're doing is you're going to place a tile in such a way that it connects to a fountain. And then from that point on, you can play a tile that connects to another tile or connects to another fountain. As you are doing this, it reminds me a bit of Carcassonne, if you're familiar with that game. You'll have these little gardener guys, and you'll be able to take them and put them down, as you can see here, in certain areas, and then that means you control that garden. So in this case, all of the flower beds that you see that are all connected together all belong to the blue player. Okay, and at the end of the game, you will count up those flowers, and those will be points. Now, there's lots of ways to get points here at the end, but basically that's what you're trying to do. Create the largest garden. There are some other things you can do. You can build these trees. There are tree cards over here. You see that they are, you have to pay for them by paying the number of gems at the top. How do you get gems? Because when you start the game, there are gems that are placed out on the board. There are some that are still here. There are rock tiles that have a like a color. So that one's a white. This one's purple. And there's lots of them at the beginning of the game. And as you play a tile, you'll be playing them on top of those gems. You'll take the gems when you play a tile. So I play a tile down on top of this. I would get to take this and add it to my my reserve, I suppose, my inventory. And then you'll use those to buy trees. You take the card, and then you'll take the tree, and you'll put it on a grassy spot. So gardens can have a spot that's grass, as well as a place that has flowers on it. So a tree has to go in a grassy area. Why would you do that? Because there's a way to score where you get points for trees that are adjacent to a garden that you control. But you have to unlock some of those end game scoring abilities by playing gems into these different abilities. I'm not going to go into every rule in this game, but that's pretty much how you play. You're going to be taking a tile from here. You're going to play it on this desert someplace. You're going to take the gemstones that were underneath that, add it to your player board. At that point, if you play a tile that has an icon on it, like this right here, this little star looking thing, means that's an ability. Abilities are the things that are on your board. So you could pay 2 gems and take an ability. Or if it has a little guy on it like that, you can take your worker, your little gardener, and you can put it out there, and you can connect. That'll be your garden. So that's something you can do. And the question marks are wild cards. They can be either a special ability like that one, or they could be a gardener like that one. It's up to you how you want to use that. Once you've done that, you may purchase a tree to plant if you can or if you want to, and then your turn is over. You will play until 2 of the stacks over here are empty. That triggers the end of the game, and you add up your points.
You'll notice that ours has a couple of extras open. That's because we messed up at the very beginning, and we kind of had to adjust halfway through the game.
So there we have it, Ishtar. It's an abstract strategy. It's a pretty game.
It's also like a worker placement game, so it kind of brings in the abstract strategy, brings in the worker placement type game. I thought it was more like a cross between Takanoko and Carcassonne. In that Carcassonne, you're laying all the tiles and you're wanting to control, you're laying the people. But Takanoko, in that it all has to flow out from your water source.
I thought the same thing. It reminded me of Takanoko as well as Carcassonne.
And we like both of them. Both of them.
And this didn't really do anything different. It's I guess because it reminds me of the Carcassonne so much, and then we have Takanoko, because Takanoko you have to you're also building. Let me think now. It's been a while since we played. You're building gardens. You're doing the same. How about that? You're doing the same thing, but you have to connect it to a water source, just like this one.
Actually, you're growing bamboo for the panda bear.
Yeah.
To eat. So.
But you're connecting them to a water source like you're doing here. Takanoko is very pretty with the 3D bamboo, the different colors. Yes. This one is pretty because it's got these gems. The 3D trees, I think, are neat, and the fountains are there. So this is also pretty.
It's got a table presence.
A little bit. I would give the edge to Takanoko. A little bit prettier than this.
Yeah. I think that is because those are all hexes and these are very irregular shaped. I would have liked to have seen it have different flowers, like different colored flowers, not all yellow. I think that would have brought out some of the color of it some, so maybe a little prettier.
But. I went into this expecting to hate it.
He absolutely did.
I read the rules. I got aggravated. Just for different reasons. I won't go into all of it, but this was not
because
something...
Because it's an abstract strategy game and he doesn't like that.
It was more than that. It was more than that.
It was a bit fiddly to set up.
I felt that they took too many words to explain things. I don't like the... in order to make it language independent, they have these pictures. I don't think that the pictures make any sense, or they're not intuitive. I mean, once you played it, you can figure it out, but as you're trying to learn it, I didn't think that those helped. I think if you're going to put up icons, then they need to be instantly recognizable. If I see a stop sign, I don't need to see the stop in it. I see the red. I don't know how many... What is that? An octagon? I know what it means, stop. If I see a yellow triangle, I know that means be cautious or slow down. I look at some of these things and I don't know what in the world. If I can zoom in on this and get it to... There we go. I don't know what that means here. It's... now I can see that thing with a lock on it looks like this rug. Okay, so I'm like, okay, so it locks the rug, plus there's one of my gardeners. So what does that mean I can do with that ability? Actually, that doesn't mean lock. That means you can reserve one of the tiles without moving the little watering can around in a clockwise fashion. You can take any of those tiles that's on the top and just take it and put it next to your board and reserve that for a future turn so that you don't have to take one of these from the rug. You can just go ahead and play the tile next to you at any time you want at the beginning of your turn. So it reserves the use of that. Plus it gives you an extra helper because you start the game with 2 and there are 2 more over here. So it gives you 2 abilities. Okay, now that I played it, I know what that means, but that makes no sense. And when I'm trying to learn it, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't like that kind of thing.
The first one, you're supposed to trade in the 2 stones to get any other 2 stones you want. Okay, but why am I trading in a steak to get another me? I mean, that's exactly what I thought. That looks like a steak. No, it's not. It's one of these things. And if your garden or your work, something you control, the garden you control is next to one of those, you get the 2 points. It's up there.
It's a sacred tablet. You're calling it a steak?
It's what it looks like on the player board. It looks like a steak. I mean, it doesn't look anything like that.
It's
so
a stone with hieroglyphics on it, so it's a sacred stone.
But look at the one on the player board.
Oh, that I get you.
It absolutely looks like a steak.
It doesn't. It's not the same icon at all.
Mm-mm.
It's supposed to be a stone here, but it doesn't look the same. Yeah, I thought that was meat myself. I'm like, caveman, the meat and the caveman. What in the world? So there were several reasons that I expected to hate this. I did not hate it, actually.
Well, good, yay! I was really kind of dreading the beginning of this because I could tell he was not real pleased with this. But
it's okay. But the thing for me is it's similar to other games we have, and Takenoko is a little bit prettier than this. So I mean, being pretty is an advantage to keeping the game. Hey, this is a really pretty game. Maybe other games do something similar, but they don't have any 3D things on them, and they don't have these gems. So this is kind of nice. I might, if there was another game that was similar, but this one was the prettier one, I keep the prettier one. Get rid of the other one. But I would give the edge to Takenoko. So I don't really think this does anything for me that other games don't.
I do like, and we didn't play it this way, but I did see where when you pull these tiles, you don't necessarily have to play them on your garden. Like my husband played one on my garden to get the stones. You can also play them onto somebody else's garden to stop their garden. So, or to mess them up in some way. Not often, but there is a little bit of that. If you're paying really close attention, that you can like mess up their stuff. So I kind of like that. I think I may have only done one that way, but the randomness of the abilities that you get, like you'll notice my player board, as opposed to what Chad's was, he had all these filled out. I did not, because I didn't get very many ability things.
I lost.
It didn't matter.
102 to 88.
And that's the thing.
Now, we both thought I was winning this game until we added up my score.
And here was the thing, is don't be dependent on your trees and your board to win this game. Because these flowers, like this one, I got 3 points just because there was 3 on it. If you can buy some like this to put on your blank spots, see how there's 3 points right there on that one. There was 4 on this one. I had several with 4 on it. This one had 4 on it. And so just because you may not have, and I did have a few more trees. I bought a few more trees than one more, I think, than what he did. But I bought a 10 and a 9. Which trees did you buy?
I had 5, 4, 7, 5, and 5.
Oh, see, I had 10, 9, 7, 6, and 4. So I spent even though I didn't buy a ton of trees, we bought the same amount, I think. I saved my diamonds or stones and got higher priced trees. Mm-hmm. So that helped points in the end. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important to be very, very obvious whenever you're picking your things, because putting them down, not to focus just on this card and those trees. Make sure you're paying attention to the flowers. So if like say you were here and you had 3 here and only 2 here, it might benefit you to pay a stone to skip this one and come to here. Actually, to not. Okay, let me start that over. You're here. You see, this one has 3 flowers and you can put a person down. This one has 2 flowers, but it gives you a special ability. Maybe you're thinking, oh, I need that special ability to unlock one of these. Yeah, but this one gives you 3. So go ahead and do that one to get you your 3 stones, or your 3 points, and don't worry about the special ability, because you may only get 1 point from the special ability. Or none. Because you maybe want to unlock one of these. And you may not get to your upper route. So, that's my advice. Pay attention to your flowers.
All right, it's time for a rating.
I enjoyed it. It's not a real talky game. So there's not a lot of conversation going back and forth. Except for rules clarification. I'd give it a 6.
That's what I was thinking as well.
So it's not.
It's fine. And if this was one of our first games, we'd give it a higher rating, I'm sure. It's just that this doesn't wow me at all because I've seen everything that it does before. It's pretty, but I've seen pretty before. So,
we bought this. Golly. 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So we've
see, that's why we're playing new games. We're trying to get these. Now I counted these yesterday. Mm-hmm. We have played 2/3 of our collection.
Yay!
So there's a third, and when we have 1,100 games, that means there was still 500 we hadn't played. So we've got plenty of things to play, and this was one.
So. Yeah, we.
When you buy 40 games a month, there's just no way. And you do that for a couple of years, you end up with games you haven't played yet. So,
and don't let the name scare you away. That was kind of my first thought was, wait, that's a pagan goddess name. I don't really want to deal with anything like that. But it's more about building the gardens in Babylon, and so.
Yeah, the goddess Ishtar has nothing to do with the gameplay at all.
Literally nothing. It's just about building gardens. And so once I read up on it, I was like, oh, that's a pretty game. That looks unique. I'd like to try that. Mm-hmm. And I bought it, like I said, a couple of years ago at the game store, and had to explain to my husband that it had nothing to do with Ishtar.
Yeah. So, if it was the first time we'd ever seen this kind of a game, I'd probably give it a 7 or even an 8.
If we'd have played this first instead of Takenoko.
Well, now I don't know because, like I said, Takenoko is a little prettier.
Well, if we didn't 3D, know anything about
bamboo
Takenoko,
is.
If we bought this and this is what we knew, I would give it higher.
Yeah. So it's okay. It's an okay game. It's just I've seen this before.
I guess that's it. We've played similar games before, but that's okay. We have a lot of games that are similar.
That's true. That's true.
So, I liked it. I liked it. Didn't love it, but I liked it.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right, then. We'll see you next week.